Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
If you want to listen to Lovely completely uninterrupted, you can subscribe to our Apple Podcast channel for ad-free episodes. It's $3.99 a month, and we would really appreciate your support. Hello, and welcome to Lovely. This is your host, Mahek. So this week, we're doing something a little different. Think of it as me handing you a podcast recommendation that I would normally send to the group chat. Now, I've been listening to this amazing podcast called Sex Ed with DB, and I thought it would be perfect to share one of their recent episodes with you all. Now, the podcast is super fun, it's very sex positive, and it's actually a science-based show hosted by DB, who is a sex educator and a pleasure expert. And in the episode that you're about to hear, DB talks with Dr. Lexx Brown-James, who is a sexologist, and they're having a conversation about how to keep pleasure alive in long-term relationships, and also how to schedule intimacy without making it feel forced, because you don't want it to be like you're booking a dentist appointment, and also how to reignite connection when things feel a little stale or a little off or a little meh. And the cherry on top is how to navigate power dynamics with your partner. Honestly, I think it was such an important and refreshing conversation, so let's get into it. Here's Sex Ed with DB.
Welcome to Sex Ed with DB. I'm your host, DB. Let's get into it. If you've been waiting for a sign to finally try that new vibe you keep thinking about, this is it. Whether you're new to sex toys or you got a whole nightstand full of them, Lion's Den has something that can surprise and delight you, and maybe even unlock a new level of pleasure. They've been in the game for over 50 years, with 50 plus stores across the US, hundreds of trusted brands, and a knowledgeable staff that actually knows what they're talking about. And if you prefer to shop from home, their online store is stacked with options, plus discreet shipping and live customer support when you browse. From solo exploration to partner play, from curiosity to kink, Lion's Den is here to help you feel good, supported, and totally in control. Use code SEXEDWITHDB for 15% off at lionsden.com or in-store. Prioritize your pleasure. You deserve it. What if I told you that I did a masturbation experiment with the magic wand and the results were incredible? Don't believe me? Let me share a few things with the class. When using the magic wand every day, I experienced less stress, anxiety, and physical tension. I reported more frequent positive moods when using the magic wand every day, including higher levels of confidence. My level of horniness increased over time when using the magic wand every day. And get this, the Magic Wand team was so excited by my study that now 1,000 people with vulvas have done it too. Get the results now at magicwandstudy.com. Hey everyone, DB here, and I'm very excited to tell you about a podcast that I really love called The Longest Shortest Time. The show is hosted by Hillary Frank, and she covers all aspects of parenthood and reproductive health. She's got an episode called The Staircase about sex ed at her daughter's school. There's one about birth control and the FAA. and another that follows the wild journey of a single trans dad by choice. But she also talks to plenty of non-parents, so you don't have to be a parent to listen. The stories are surprising, fun, edgy, poignant. They'll just give you all the feels. And the show was on hiatus for 5 years, but I'm thrilled that it's back now with new episodes. Find The Longest Shortest Time in all podcast apps or at longestshortesttime.com. Hello, DB here, your favorite sex educator and pleasure expert, and your favorite voice behind Sex Ed with DB, of course, the podcast where we take smart, science-backed sex ed and make it sexy, make it fun. Today, I'm talking to a favorite of mine, Dr. Lexx Brown-James, a sexologist leading the field of sexuality with shame-free sex education and innovative sex therapy skills. Dr. Lexx is here to tell us about the pleasures of long-term monogamy, especially when things are hard out there for everyone in all sorts of kinds of relationships. How do we stay in touch with our love even as we change and even as our partners change? How do we stay in touch with our wider community when society tells us that our partner should just be our everything? You remember those joint Facebook profiles? I honestly didn't remember when Dr. Lexx was talking about this. We should move on from that kind of mindset. Let's be our own people. In this episode, Dr. Lexx and I talk about the importance of individual pleasure in long-term monogamy. Don't forget that early on in any relationship, you are teaching your partner how to please you and how to love you. That can change relationship to relationship. And when you've been in a monogamous relationship for a long time, you are still entitled to your own pleasure outside of your partner. It's super important to connect with your own joy, your own pleasure, and to remember that your partner is not the only person who's in charge of those things for you. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did with Dr. Lexx, who has been in such a beautiful, loving, and borderline corny, her words, relationship for years and years. Here I am with Dr. Lexx. Hello, Dr. Lexx Brown-James. How are we doing today?
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
You are just so amazing that I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled today to have you on. We were talking about this before we started recording, but you've been on the pod before talking about how to maintain the spark in a long-term relationship, monogamous relationship specifically. And we're having you back today as kind of a part 2 for our pleasure season, pleasure in long-term monogamous relationships. How do you feel about this topic?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It is so arousing to be able to talk about pleasure and lovers. They're like my 2 favorite things.
Oh, lovers. I feel like I only hear that word in like the Taylor Swift context. I feel like we should be using it in actual everyday life. I think that's fantastic.
My lover's nickname is Lover. Like other people only know him as Lover and they forget his real name.
Wait, that's so cute. I love that. Okay, we're hopping into the quick and dirty long-term monogamy edition. It's our rapid fire segment. We get to know our expert even better with bold questions, honest answers, and just enough spice, just enough to get us going. This is a hard one to start, but in 10 words or less, how would you define pleasure? We got our hands up.
Oh my God. I was like, let me count. 10 words?
10 words.
Okay. Anything that tickles your fancy.
That's even 5. Wow. Good work.
There we go.
Anything that tickles your fancy is so cute and such a sweet way to describe that. I absolutely adore that. What's your number 1 tip for keeping love alive in long-term monogamous relationships?
Ooh. Okay, so here's the thing. Love comes in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. I think it's a realization. You have to realize that love is going to change. It is going to be fiery and passionate. Sometimes it's going to be friendship. Sometimes it's going to be just physical satisfaction. And sometimes there's going to be no physical satisfaction. It's just going to be like companionship. So
Hmm.
love is going to change over the iterations of events, time, health, parenting and family journey, grief. So love is always going to change. And I think that's number one tip is to remember that it's not stagnant. It's going to move, it's going to flow, it's going to have different forms, and they are all valuable. One isn't better than the other. You
Oh,
don't have to prioritize. Just because you don't have this one doesn't mean that you're not in love or loving. It's going to change.
oh, I love the non-judgmental tone of like, it's okay if you don't have all of the
Yeah.
pieces of love, of the fire and the passion and the companionship at the same time that we, especially right now before we started recording, we started saying the world is on fire. Things are
The world is
really
on.
hard right now for people. It is
Oh
challenging,
my gosh.
especially, and we usually take that out on our partners, right? And so it
Mm-hmm.
can be really tough to maintain all of the ways that you're connected and that you're feeling love for that person at all times. So we,
Mm-hmm.
we'll try our damnedest, but it's important to let ourselves kind of be kind and let ourselves off the hook a little bit.
Well, I think that's the falsehood of monogamy,
Mm,
right? So, this idea that this one person has to be your end all and be all of all pleasure in your life. Like, as soon as you get with somebody, you're no longer supposed to find other people attractive. You're no longer
right.
supposed to want to like hang out with your best friends. You're supposed to leave your family. You're supposed to become this kind of glob with this other person. I was talking about this in a training. Do you remember when people on Facebook would have joint Facebook profiles? Like it would be
Oh
the
my God.
couple,
I maybe blocked
right?
it out. It's
As a
so bad.
geriatric millennial, I remember they were like, oh, we have a profile now. We can't have individual profiles anymore because you're no longer this individual or expected to operate
Yes.
that way. And we're living in an endemic, right? So, COVID, we saw a lot of breakup. People are like, I don't
Hmm.
like you. It's not going to work. I didn't
Right.
realize I didn't like you, but now that we're together all the time.
Right.
So, absolutely, it's a falsehood that I'm supposed to be your end all and be all. And who can live up to that all the time? It's a setup for disappointment.
Completely. Speaking of the joint thing, I feel like everyone over 60 who may be listening may relate to this, but it definitely is a thing for my mom's friends and my aunt and uncles. They all have joint emails. Like all of them have one email for the couple. And I'm like, guys, you got to maintain some privacy. What's going on here?
It's okay. You can have
And it's okay.
privacy. Privacy isn't secrecy.
Right.
Privacy isn't
Yes.
secrecy. It's not this harboring thing that you're like, oh, I can't ever let anybody know. It's just like,
Mm.
no, this is just for me. And you get to have just for you, even when you're
Oh,
in a lovership.
oh, beautiful. And our last quick and dirty question: what's your number one tip for keeping pleasure alive in long-term
Mm.
relationships?
I think it's going to sound antithetical and kind of weird when we're talking about long term relationships, but I think it's to prioritize your self pleasure, your individual pleasure. Because if I'm able to generate really good energy, arousing energy, feel good energy, whatever that pleasure may be, it doesn't have to be carnal, whatever that pleasure may be, I'm able to carry that and share it with my lover. And we're able to
Mm.
spark something else too. So individual pleasure needs to be prioritized because then you get to choose to share it with someone or you get to choose to keep it with yourself.
Oh, that's so important. Like it's kind of like the make sure that your mask is on
Mm-hmm.
before attending to other people's masks. It feels like very
Exactly.
yes, like your cup
Exactly.
needs to be full. And I think especially, this episode is around like long-term monogamy, so people have been together, for years and years potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in a new relationship, this is especially important because you're learning what you like and how to teach that to your partner.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. If, and hopefully they're willing to accept it. I
Hmm.
find in new relationships, people tend to give up. So I'm going to give up
Mm,
my art class so I can spend time with you. I'm going to give
mm.
up my, Dungeons and Dragons on Tuesdays so we can do something together. My grandmother, who lived in Hawaii for, I don't know, 20 years, talks about it's the time when you gain your happy weight because in new
Oh,
relationships, all you're doing is sitting together and eating.
yes.
And like that's it feels good. It's fun. What food do you like? What food do I like? But long-term relationships need something different. We know each other's patterns. We've been together. We're developing as individuals as well, especially if you're through stages of life. Life stages are happening. Mid-age is 37 right now. That's middle age. Middle age is 37, y'all, because
Oh
people
God.
aren't living to like 110 anymore. Middle age is no longer 50. It's like 38. So,
This is terrifying.
right, you're going through midlife with a human and trying to figure out all the stuff. And again, all the life is happening. Pregnancies, family, people passing away. We're in a sandwich generation. We're raising families of some way, sort, and we're also parenting our parents or grandparents. That changes you. Not to mention trying to
Totally.
survive, like, capitalism. So that
Oh
changes
God,
you.
just the horrific politics. There's just there's so many
There's so
things to
much.
dodge right now. You're just like, how do I maintain pleasure in this world that feels so scary and challenging? And
Exactly.
I do really like this idea of really maintaining kind of your own practice in order
Mm-hmm.
to have that with your partner. Well, that was the quick and dirty. Thank you for answering. And as you know, this season is all about different forms of pleasure, like ways that it
Mm-hmm.
shows up for different people and different relationships. And I'm wondering for you personally, what brings you the most pleasure in your long-term partnership? You've been with
Mm.
someone for a long time, you have children. Like what does this look like for you?
Yeah. So we are completely corny and probably unhealthily enmeshed. Big word for, but we're still that glob. We sleep spooning.
Hmm.
Uh, like I have to have his forearm across my waist to have a really good sleep.
Hmm.
We're those people, which is annoyingly
That's sweet.
nauseating. So pleasure is one. I do get to do my own thing. So I play volleyball in my downtime. I play competition and social. And my lover makes room for that. To leave 2 nights a week out of my house, when my children, I have three hating ass babies. They're also my gems, but they're haters of my life and my joy. But he was like, no, I want you to go and have fun, and I get to consensually hit things very hard at people on purpose, and it brings me a lot of joy. My body is tired, I get to listen to good music and have a great time. But he made room for that. He was like, I will shift my gym day, I will shift whatever to make sure you can do that. And I felt so taken care of. And that
Mm,
just, of course, body felt good, loins felt good. Like, I always
yes.
say, do you want to go half on a baby? But I have to stop saying that because every time I say that, we end up having a baby and we can't have any more babies. So
So
that's a lot
cute.
of pleasure practice for us. And then also rushing home to do nothing together, to like actually be able to converse and not just like, here's an update about the family and here's an update about what we have coming up. But it's like, did you see this thing? We're big advocates of Pop the Balloon right now. And so we're talking about this dating show of like how hard it would be for us, or did you
Oh,
see these
funny.
answers? And it's just talking about nothing. And that is just so great.
Connection.
So intimate, so close,
Yeah.
getting to know them, getting to know like his new opinions on these things. It just tickles my fancy. It tickles my fancy.
Oh, I love the idea of getting to know your partner continuously. Like, this is so beautiful
Mm-hmm.
to think about that, like, even when you're with someone for years and years, you are still getting to know each other because you're shifting and you're changing over time.
Mm-hmm. And I think so many people need that permission. Like, oh, I'm not this. I hear in my office, my clients will be like, I'm not the same woman you fell in love with 20 years ago.
Hmm.
Right? I've changed, or I don't even know who I am anymore, but I know I'm not that. But they don't feel like they have the permission to be any different. My mama used to say, what you did to get the man, you got to do to keep the man. And I was like,
Ooh,
okay,
interesting. All right,
you know,
that's
Southern,
interesting.
Black elder Southern wisdom from the Bible Belt isn't
I mean,
necessarily
she had a
all of
different
the wisdom
upbringing, right? So it's
that
like
we
that's a
need.
different
Yeah,
culture, different upbringing, like different generation. There's so, we can take what's helpful and
exactly.
leave the rest.
Right. But I'm like, those things might change.
Right.
They have to change. We're not the same humans. We're not sitting in
Yeah.
the same place.
Yeah. Oof, I love it. So on your beautiful website, you say that pleasure is a birthright. Can you tell me what you
Mm.
mean by that and how we can embody that philosophy in our long-term monogamous relationships?
Oh, yes. So, for people who don't know, I am a Black fat pansexual from the South who identifies as a recovering Baptist. And so part of this is the religiosity in my story. Like, was in church 3, 4 days a week in the children's choir. And I didn't understand why people had to sacrifice to be good. You have to, not eat your cake even though you have it. It didn't make sense to me. And this idea that I'd be put on this planet to suffer by, a creator who loves me didn't make sense to me. And with that, and also coming that pleasure is an innate thing. Babies feel pleasure. Again, it's not carnal. It is pleasure to nurse. It is pleasure to poop. It is pleasure. Laughing when your belly is all the way deep and shaking is pleasurable. Feeling the sun on your skin might be pleasurable. So we have pleasure from birth. We were made to have pleasure, and it grows with us. When I do shame-free sex ed and sex positive parenting, pleasure might be, oh my gosh, drinking this water because my body needed it feels really good. That's pleasurable. But we're told and taught to tune out that pleasure. Don't be too loud. Oh no, you can't laugh like that here. Oh, I always tell my kids, did the poop hurt? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so you need more vegetables because that didn't feel good for your body, right? Do your friendships, are you getting pleasure? If you're not getting pleasure, then what are we doing? Why are we, some aspect of this needs to be pleasurable for us to keep doing it. And we grow into adults or adolescents, right? And start to bring that into our sexual practice. And now we have people who are like, oh, I've never had pleasure doing this, but I was told I was supposed to. Or I was told I was never supposed to have pleasure in my sexual relationships, in my romantic relationships. I'm just an object to be here. And that's not fair. Because it's robbing us of that birthright. You were born for pleasure.
This is so good. I feel like I could easily sit. I'm just kind of like listening to you talk and I'm forgetting that I'm interviewing you. This is just like a beautiful way to think about our rights as people in this world and as people who exist with bodies and minds, basically. And I think that, my next question was, you kind of answered it, but it's like, are there types of pleasure that we're overlooking, right? This idea with like the sun on our face, the water, like how good it feels to connect with somebody, like, and then kind of in a very real way, how do we focus on pleasure with the world burning, with work and childcare and financial stress, like around guilt and shame that we feel and prioritizing ourselves in our pleasure? Where does this fall?
Oh my gosh. So I'm so glad that you continued to ask the question and didn't skip over it, because there's a pleasure that I want to talk about that I think it doesn't get talked about enough, right? So it's the pleasure of relinquishing control.
I need to hear this, please.
Right? I get goosebumps talking about it. So my research when I got my PhD was really on forced fantasy, so also known as rape fantasy. And it's fantasy. It's not the action. It is fantasy. It's this idea of the Harlequin romance novels, right? So the damsel gets pushed up against the wall, but she's unbuttoning her own shirt. Like, no, don't do it. And she lifts up her own skirt, right? So being wanted. But in our world right now, where so much stuff is happening and so much stuff is going on and we're feeling helpless, we're having to make a lot of decisions, whether it's around safety, money, what we're going to buy, what we're not going to buy, what we're teaching, what we're consuming, what we're not consuming. But there is a pleasure in relinquishing that, of saying, I trust somebody enough to do this for me. To say, you know what, I ain't got it. Can you take over power here? That's actually one of the questions in one of my card decks is, what power dynamics do you want to change in our relationship this week?
This week. I love relegating it to a week.
Just this week, right. What and it's going to change week to week. Like, I would really love it if you took over all of the meal planning this week. I don't care what we eat. I don't want to plan it. I don't want to cook it. And I can relinquish that. I was like, oh, that feels so good. I don't have to make those decisions. I'm not taxed. In the bedroom, you know what? You can do whatever you want within this scope. I don't care. You do it.
Oh, love it.
Right? And you relinquish that control. And that is so pleasurable because you're taken care of, you're building trust and intimacy, and you get a reward of some dopamine afterwards because it feels good.
Yes. I love that. That's so good. Relinquish it. I mean, it's so, especially now, right? Especially when there's so much uncertainty. There's so much, confusion in the world around us. And I think the idea of like, especially as sex educators and activists, right? Like all this time that we've been fighting and working to be like, it's okay if I do need a break. And like, like relinquishing that kind of control too, I feel like can let us fill our cup and regain pleasure where we need it and come back when we're ready.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're exactly right. You hit the right on the nose. It's right on the nose.
And what about this idea of like how to focus on that pleasure with kind of, I was talking to another sex educator and they were talking about the fact that their clients can't have sex if one of them can see the full laundry bin in the closet, right? It's like something so specific as that. So like, what are like tools that you have for people when there is outward stress to be able to like legitimately focus on that authentic pleasure?
Yeah. So this happens all the time with lovers, right? Especially with femme-identified and socialized lovers. So women, and they have this invisible labor load that they're carrying. And it's because of patriarchy and all the other rules. But we have to delegate. And if you're an overfunctioner, if you do all the things and you need to have it a certain way, what don't you need to have a certain way? What can you give to somebody else and be like, I don't care how you wash these dishes. As long as they're clean at the end of the day, I don't care. You can put a fork in what I consider backwards and I'm okay. I don't care. It's washed. Right? My one of my old supervisors tells a story of like, I just need you to diaper the baby at night because I can't do it. I'm so tired. Dude is putting on diaper backwards. Okay. It's backwards. Will it still catch pee? Yes. That's all we needed. We just needed baby diapered. And so you relinquish, again, some of that control, you relinquish that responsibility, and you can get out of, okay, this is done, but also giving yourself permission not to be perfect, right? So the laundry's not done. The floor hasn't been mopped. You might not have gotten to the shower today, and it's still okay to have some sex after that, right? So it might not be perfect, and that's okay. Because perfect is actually a made-up thing. It doesn't exist. It's what's
like
good
embracing,
for you.
Yeah, embracing the mess a little bit.
Yeah, and enjoy it, right? We've been doing a lot of talks around people and squirting right now. And they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm peeing on myself. I get so anxious. And I'm like, does it feel good? They're like, if I can get to it, yeah. And my partner really likes it. So does it matter? Doesn't matter. Right? No, it doesn't matter. If it feels good for you and you can relax enough into it, then do it. Put down a towel, do it in the shower, don't fall, put down a waterproof whatever, and have at it. Nobody else is gonna know. It's between you and them. Like
we're not putting this on our joint Facebook.
Right,
we're not sharing.
Like, are we like, here's this, like, what are we doing? Enjoy it. So absolutely. So getting that headspace, taking care of things. And sometimes it's like, hey, I need to go prep. I really want to get it in tonight. I really want to have sex in the morning. In order for me to feel like I'm ready to do that, I need this, this, and this to happen. Can you, close down the house at the end of the night? Can you make sure all the doors are locked? It helps me feel safe. And delegating that and voicing it and then letting the other person do it. Don't go check behind them. Trust them enough to do it. If they don't do it, that's another conversation. But saying, I relinquish this, go do it. I appreciate it. I'm going to go get myself warmed up. I'm going to go get in, a couple of new toys. I'm really excited. I'm going to go wash, take a bath, relax, read my erotica, whatever it is. You come in when you're done.
Yeah. Hundo P. I also love the idea too. There are two other kind of pleasure practices that I'm thinking about in like our joint toolbox that we're building here. One is like a simple one that we've talked about before, and I'm sure it comes up a lot in your practice, scheduling sex. I think like the idea that like you two don't have to feel like the pressure of spontaneity all the time. Like if you have a standing time 2 times a week where maybe it's just kissing one of those times, and maybe it's just hand stuff. Maybe you're doing intercourse. Maybe you're playing with toys. Maybe you're just talking dirty in anticipation with one another. Like whatever it is, having that standing time can really help take the pressure off of feeling like, oh, well, I'm not investing in this practice enough. And then secondly, Another framework that I have found really helpful when sometimes it feels like, oh, I don't want to wash the toy and I don't want to, if you're feeling a little lazy or you're just like not into it, think about every single time you exercise. At least for myself, before every single time I exercise, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, not, and I, similar to your volleyball thing, like I play pickleball, I rock climb, like there are things that I really enjoy, but there is that kind of pull that I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do this. And 100% of the time, unless I hurt myself, unless I have an injury, knock on wood, I feel better. And I'm excited that I did that. And I think that if we adopt that same framework to sex and pleasure, especially with our partner, if it's feeling fraught or we're feeling like overwhelmed, we can trust that this is going to be good and this is going to make something that makes me happy.
Yeah, no, I love those too. I definitely use scheduling sex because it also gives us something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Like, we've carved out connection time, whatever that connection time may be, we can decide when we get there. And I can look forward to it. I can play naughty on your calendar. Like we can put taco night and nobody else knows what that means, right? It's just us. And so that's really lovely. And then the other part with you can always stop and go. You can say, you know what, I'm not really feeling this, but we can try some stuff and see how I feel and check in. Right? Because it's always a start and stop because it's consensual. So, you know what? Actually, I don't really feel like this. How does it feel? The last thing I love is mutual masturbation. So let's get, whatever your toy is. I prefer people looking at each other if they're able to. So like one person at the head of the bed, the other person at the foot of the bed, and kind of putting on a sexy show for each other to say like, show me how you like to be touched. Watch me do this. Say words to me. Call me this, whatever. And you get to watch that person. You get to see their body change and their body tense and hear their heart. And then you get to hear their breath change and their eyes slide halfway down. And then you throw their head back and you get to watch them come to their full pleasure while they're thinking of you or while they're watching you and you're the object of their desire. So it doesn't have to be all of those pieces. It can just be one or two, but it's another way to get into that pleasure mode.
Oh, I love that so much. That's so great.
Here's a fact that you may not know. Nearly 3 out of 4 women or people with vulvas experience pain during sex at some point. I have been one of them. And while the causes can vary, one thing that consistently makes a difference for me is Uberlube. It's silicone-based, doctor-recommended, and designed with sensitive bodies in mind. It lasts long, it's never sticky, and doesn't stain my clothes or sheets. It's the one lube I always keep within reach. Seriously, I have 3 bottles in my bathroom cabinet right now. If you're looking to bring more comfort and pleasure into your sex life, try Uberlube and use code SEXEDWITHDB for 10% off at uberlube.com. Valentine's Day doesn't have to suck if you're single. In fact, you can be the main event. I'm DB from Sex Ed with DB, teaming up with Talia from Dating Intentionally for a 4-day all-inclusive retreat in Palm Springs, California, from February 12th to 15th, 2026. This is just for single women and femmes, and there are only 12 spots. Think: heated pool, hot tub, pickleball, all your meals included with a private chef, yoga, cocktails and mocktails, and juicy workshops to help you get crystal clear on your dating life, values, and pleasure. The waitlist is open right now. Go to our link in our link in bio or linktr.ee/sexedwithdb to sign up right now.
Okay, let's talk about a reputation that monogamous relationships sometimes has, which is going stale, right? There's this idea that, as time progresses, as you said, love kind of takes many forms, but we're talking specifically about people's pleasure practice. After 20, 30 years, it can potentially reach a point with couples where they do stop having sex or they do not have sex as often. And I'm wondering, like, in your experience as a sex therapist and you're someone, who chats with couples all the time, is this as common as we think, or is this more of a myth? And then a follow-up is like, does this vary based on genders and or sexual orientation? Like thinking specifically of the infamous lesbian bed death, for instance.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there is something to specifically women who love women and desire changing, right? So not as much spontaneous desire, more so a manufactured or manifested desire, but also not being socialized to start sex, right? So women who are queer, and then if you add on if they were religious, if they're Black and brown, if they're fat, if they have a disability or neurodivergence, have not been taught to go get sex. Because if you do, you're a hoe and nobody wants you, right? We can't be hoes, quote unquote, right? But as my good friend Ask Goody says, Goody Howard, you can't have a housewife without a hoe. So
I love that. I love Goody.
That being said, right, so we do see some, I have seen some lovers, especially women who love women, who have those discrepancies over time. And that happens. But I do think it happens across all genders, across all relationship styles, specifically when we're talking about monogamy, because again, people with penises reach their peak in their 30s. Like their sexual peak is their 30s and typically early 30s. This is when like penises are super hard. They can break bricks with it. They don't have to like wait in between ejaculatory responses for another erection. After 30, they need a sandwich and a nap. Okay. Like we need some time to build up.
I was literally about to take a sip of water and I had to unmute just to show you how funny I thought that was.
Like it's okay. Testosterone starts to shift and change. And then we know that a lot of millennials right now are going through menopause and perimenopause. And so on postmenopause, this is when libido for women like shoots up. They feel comfortable in their bodies. They know what they want. And so mixing it up might be, let's change positions. Let's change rooms, right? If we're always in the bedroom. I also see lovers who are becoming empty nesters and don't know how to unstealthify. We're going to make that a word. Their sex, because they've been having quiet sex for all the years that their children have been in the house.
Right.
Or because their parents have now moved back into the house and they're like, oh, we have to change how we do this. We're also seeing exploration in kink play. And if you are a person who likes to slap a booty during sex, that's kink play. That's impact play. Right? It doesn't have to be a full latex on lubricant suit.
Cat ears.
Be like, right. It doesn't have to be a equestrian butt plug tail. It could be kinky. Like
so specific. I love it.
Right? It can be whatever. So starting to integrate, like, would you be interested in some of this? I don't know. Let's talk about it. Let's watch some stuff. Let's listen to some stuff. Watching erotica together, listening to erotica together, trying different sensory play. Abstaining for a little while. Like my lovers get annoyed with me because I take sex off the table, usually in their first or second session. And they're like, what you mean? And I swear one lovership, I love them so much. He was like, it's my birthday, Dr. Lexx. So like, does it start now or can we start tomorrow? And his partner was right with him like, okay, look, can we just till midnight maybe? Can we do it till midnight? And so I'm like, all right, I'll give you all till midnight, have some birthday stuff. I'm glad you got
the clock is ticking.
Like get it in and then no more because we want to alleviate pressure, but also give people time to miss each other. There's that time of like, I missed you. And we didn't see that during COVID, right? It's like, you're always here. I don't miss you. How was your day? You were here for the whole day. You heard every call I had. You seen me naked in the shower. When I came out, I ain't put on no clothes. Like we just always here.
There's no mystery.
There is no more. There's no more mystery. I don't have a chance to miss you, but I also don't have a chance to just be with myself, right? There are spots that you tickle differently than your partner does. And while partnered sex and partner stuff can be really, really great, stuff for yourself can also be really, really great too. And we don't have that if we're constantly trying to meet whatever this quota and bar is that somebody set randomly.
About like how often or what the expectation should be.
Yeah. Whatever that sensational title is, like, oh, the happiest couples have sex 7 days a week. No, they don't. People are tired.
Right.
No, they don't. Some people do. Some people absolutely want sex, 7 days. Some people want sex once a month. Like whatever it is that makes you all work is what makes you all work.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. I mean, I think that ultimately the goal for each person and in their relationship should be, how do I figure out what works for me and for us? And how do we get good at talking about it often enough so that there are no surprises that come up that, there could be good surprises, but surprises insofar as, we want to make sure that we're open to change and to exploring. And, not all of this is the easiest thing. Like sometimes one person might bring up something they want to do for pleasure and the other person might be like, I'm not really comfortable with that, or I don't really know about that. Right. Like, and that's okay too. Like it has to be part of the process for people to be brave and share what's really on their heart and mind. And if your partner's not into that, you got your solo pleasure practice. Like there's no need for you to escape the equestrian butt plug, for instance, because you have your own butthole and can experience that on your own.
There you go. And also, a self-pleasure practice isn't a sabotage for couples, for a lovership that's shared. And sometimes I think there might be like a competition or like, oh, why are you masturbating? I'm here. Like you shouldn't need to masturbate or you shouldn't need a toy. And we tend to not do shouldn'ts in the therapy realm, but in the education realm, these are tools and this is information. And so we're gathering tools and information around that masturbation, around those pleasure tools, so we can invite them to enhance our pleasure together.
That's so good. That actually ties perfectly into our final question of this interview segment. And then we're going to bedroom brainiacs, or we're going to go over a couple trivia questions together. What are some ways that you kind of recommend that folks who have been together for 5, 10, 20 plus years can gain a new perspective on pleasure and elevate it? Like what kinds of different positions or fantasies or, finding new ideas in the bedroom that you might be interested in? And how do you go about asking?
Yeah, absolutely. So one, we're not asking during. If you are balls deep, that's not the time to ask. To be like, let's try this really new thing that might be scary and potentially harmful to your body. It's not the time. Right. So we need to have a time and a place, right? And some prep of like, oh, hey, I saw this thing. What do you think about it? Right? You can even say, I'm feeling a little bit shy about this, but I really wanted to share it with you. I've been having this dream, or I've been reading this erotic novel, and this sounds kind of fun. Will you read this passage? Whatever that may be. Right? My oldest brother, it's okay if I tell the story, his now ex-wife showed him a passage, and it was an erotic book. He read the rest of the book because he was so intrigued. Like,
I mean, listen, this is why it's the number one genre of literature.
Right.
People love it.
I ain't never seen a man read an entire book in my life. So the fact that he sat here and read this whole book, I was like, all right, then we found your genre.
So funny.
So it's great. But so we're going to do that. We're going to introduce new things, whether through auditory, visual, stimulation type, and also do it together. So like if we're looking for new sex toys, what do we want? Do we want a penetration? Do we want a vibration? Do we want a restrictive? Let's do that together. We're going to try out different loops together. Be like, hey, which one do we like? Because it's going to be a different sensation. Maybe we're going to try a different sleeve, like a masturbation sleeve, pocket pussy. Maybe we're trying something new there. I would avoid fruit, specifically citric fruit around a penis, because uric acid burns.
Ooh,
and I know people are like, I'm going to lick that off or I'm going to wash it, whatever. Don't do it. That's what a sleeve is for. Do that. And so we're going to add things, and then we're going to be like, let's pretend. You can role play, meet at a place, act like strangers, embody other things, whatever it is. You don't have to have the costume and the trench coat to pretend to be something, but also flirt through the day. How are you flirting through the day? And it doesn't mean you have to send not safe for work photos to your partner's government phone. Not a great idea. Okay? Don't do that. What you can do is, I'm really looking forward to seeing you. I've been thinking about you all day. Right?
So simple. Or just just give a little emoji.
Just emojis,
if you're even,
right? All right. So just a little something, a little nod, and you're keeping it there. And then when you feel something, say something. Oh my gosh, you smell so good today. Right? Just those little things of, I notice you, I see you, I appreciate you, I want you, are gentle reminders. And people do that through all sorts of ways, but they're gentle reminders of like, yep, I'm still in this with you. And that's the sexiest turn on of like, yep, I still want you. I just want you to know I still want you.
I like to reframe this too as like, I still have a crush on my husband. Like we're celebrating 10 years next year, and there's still like moments where, if he's like all dressed up, I'm like, oh, I really have a crush on you right now.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and it feels very like fun and like middle school-y, but it's
Yes,
great.
yes.
I love it. Okay, this is so great.
I love that.
I love everything that you said. We're gonna transition now to Bedroom Brainiacs, where we do trivia about our episode topic. Are you ready?
I guess so. I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. Let's go.
Okay, so we're gonna do 3 questions. So our first question, I love this one. And I realize this is cheating because I'm looking at the answers, but I'm just curious to see what you think. And then our audience, of course, our listeners are going to guess as well.
I got all of these wrong.
No, you're not. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll figure it out together. According to Rutgers neuroscientist Barry Komisaruk, what happens to the brain during an orgasm? And I have a multiple choice. So it's basically what happens to the brain. Is it A, parts across the entire brain are activated? B, the frontal and prefrontal cortex are activated? C, the nervous system is the only activated part of the brain? Or D, we don't have the data to understand anything about the brain during an orgasm. What do you think?
I don't think it's D, because I remember people having sex in an MRI.
Oh, that's right. I do love that. I love that study.
And there was like thinking off versus not thinking off. And I was mad that I couldn't be the person doing the data for the MRI. I'm going to go with prefrontal and frontal cortex.
You are correct, because it's the whole brain. It's the whole brain.
It's the whole brain. Okay.
So the prefrontal and the frontal are included in the whole brain.
Right, and then occipital and parietal and hind. Got it. So whole brain. All right, that makes sense.
Those are the PhD words for brain. So yeah,
I was trying to think of the areas. I'm like, there's Wernicke's, there's like the hippocampus.
You got too deep in it. But yeah, I like this idea that the entire brain like lights up when you have an orgasm. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like when you have an orgasm, so many different things that are happening simultaneously. So it makes sense to me that the whole brain would light up.
Absolutely.
Okay, which of the following is a recorded and unexpected long-term effect of regular orgasms in women or people with vulvas? A, muscle mass is attained easier. B, tolerance of pain increases. C, the immune system is boosted. Or D, chronic headaches decrease significantly.
Is there not all of the above? Okay.
There's not, but this is a good question.
So, because I know if you're on top, it can decrease your headache.
Oh.
And I also know that they do ask, like, orgasm is a form of helping with labor.
Right. Go with that. Go with that idea.
So we're going to go with the reduces pain.
Ding, 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 ding. I'm like cheating for you. But that's right. Which is so crazy that pain reduction and like, I mean, it makes sense though, right?
Because there are studies where people watch porn, right? So they watch porn for pain reduction.
Labor. Wow. That's pretty epic. That's so great. Okay, final question before I say bye-bye and before we ask where everyone can find you, because you're so fantastic and I want everyone to know exactly who you are. Regular orgasms have also been recorded to have a cosmetic impact on people. Which of the following has been documented by the Royal Edinburgh Hospital? A, people look 5 to 7 years younger than they are. B, people have clearer skin and fewer breakouts. C, people have increased brightness of skin. Or D, people have shinier, stronger hair.
Oh, I feel like it's less breakouts.
Oh, tell me your reasoning. Why do you think?
But what was A again?
A was people look 5 to 7 years younger than they are.
I want to go with that one just in general. So I'm going with that one. But so I think because of all of the blood rushing and flushing.
Oh, yeah,
the
like
skin,
the flow.
So bringing blood flow to the skin. But that would actually help you look younger, right? Because the blood flow to the skin is healthy. It's bringing oxygenated blood all over where you need it. And I'm thinking the dopamine and the relaxation.
Right.
So being able to relax
Less
and
wrinkles,
have a lot
perhaps.
of yeah. Mm-hmm.
The answer is A. You got it. That's correct. Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, if that, there's so much emphasis on Botox and everything going on right now. It's just like, maybe just have more orgasms and it could have the same effect.
So, I mean, I tell my lover all the time, I'm like, look, he says, I think orgasms solve everything. I'm like, you're not
Honestly,
far off. If you have a cold, like you can have an orgasm and it helps cleanse your sinus passages and open them up so they're less inflamed. Again, I said a headache. If you go on top, it's bringing blood flow down away from your head. Right. And so that can be helpful. Like, don't do a lot of jostling, but on top and upright, good to go. So now I'm gonna be like, hey, we can look younger.
I love that. That's so great. I mean, not only do they feel good, but there is science behind them actually impacting your life and your face in a positive way.
There we go.
Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so before we head to the afterglow, which we'll head to in a second, after we're finished interviewing the wonderful Dr. Lexx, I'm curious, where can people find you and where can they follow you?
Yeah, thanks. I love all of the segment pieces too. So I am across all platforms except for Twitter. I'm not on that one anymore, but you can find me at Lexx, Lexx, the word sex, sex, doc, doc, like doctor. So Lexx Sex Doc across all platforms. And you can feel free to follow me there.
Yay. You rock. Thank you so much for coming on.
This was being here.
Such a pleasure. Speaking of pleasure, I'm just so happy to know you and to have you guest on this podcast. You're so wonderful. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me. Can't wait to see you around the field.
And welcome to the Afterglow. Dr. Lexx's take on pleasure is so expansive, so beautiful. The sun on our face, the feeling of full belly laughter, and just doing nothing together are all different types of underrated forms of pleasure. Getting to know your partner more and more as you grow is also an underrated type of pleasure. Never forget that you change and your pleasure changes, it evolves, and the same is true for your partner. Stay in touch and in tune with each other. Keep up conversations about what pleasure means to both of you and where you could be getting more pleasure in all aspects of your life. Dr. Lexx says it best: pleasure is a birthright. Think about this. How has the world outside been impacting your pleasure? Dr. Lexx focused on the power dynamics in your relationship that can shift even week to week. Do you feel the pleasure of having just the right amount of control, or do you wish that you could relinquish it a little bit more? Think about your own invisible labor load, especially if you're an over-functioner. If you're someone who needs control, but you feel like you're spinning out, maybe what you need is to take some more control in your dynamic. Talk to each other and see where you align. Don't underestimate tiny pleasures and tiny stresses, especially for how they impact your intimacy and connection with your partner. Now, here is your pleasure practice of the week. Schedule your sex for the week. We all know this is a recommended practice. We've talked to Dr. Emily Nagoski about this and other sex educators, but so often it's advice that people really fail to take. Give it a shot. Talk about it with your partner. Use the build-up time until your scheduled sex date to get a little flirty if you want. And if you're not partnered, do the same thing with yourself. This is a practice that anyone can use and everyone who can should try. Thank you so much for listening. Love y'all. Talk to you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's special drop of Sex Ed with DB here on Lovely. I really enjoyed when DB and Dr. Lexx talked about how to maintain pleasure in a world that is constantly changing, constantly evolving, and the importance of continuously getting to know your partner, even if you've been together for years or decades. I think there is always something new to learn about your partner. There is always something to do together with your partner to really keep that spark alive. and remind yourselves why you chose each other in the first place and keep having fun. So we'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Lovely and a fresh guest. So make sure you tune in and see you next Friday.